Ladies and gents, welcome to UX, and this is Kerbal Scuffed Program 3, Kevin's Wrath Part 2, I guess. I already did the half portion of this yesterday. I think we left off where he was creating antimatter and trying to make billions and billions of dollars, I guess. And Kevin's Wrath, so Kevin is still not here. I guess Kevin's gonna appear in the end, some internet historian style joke or something, I don't know. But as far as this program goes, I like how it's just things are picking up, right? He's just messing with antimatter, trying to make money, combining forces with Saudis to basically fund things. This is so good. I like how he just take this simulator type game and creating all these layers to it. And people are telling me he's going to do more than 3. I thought he said that he's done after 3, right? So he's doing more than that. All right, it's going to be fun. So let's watch this one. Pepsi, man.
Once at Joule, we place ourselves at 9,000 kilometers, start producing positrons, and begin the lengthy collection process. And after a mere 6 years of spinning around the big green boy, the container was filled with a ridiculous 1 ton of antimatter. Time to bring it back to Kerbin.
First of all, antimatter is so expensive because there isn't many of them to sell, right? If you bring in 1 ton of antimatter, it wouldn't have the same cost as it has right now, right? It's called basically inflation. And who are you going to sell all this money and all these billions of dollars worth of antimatter, right? They're not going to pay you that much, right? It's like, okay, come on.
After another 2 years in space, the massive bounty of antimatter is finally back. So we recover the vessel and are rewarded with 96 billion funds.
96 billion.
Very good. Now that we will never have money problems again, we can begin construction of our largest project.
But this is basically the example of how people say whoever's going to dominate space, whoever's going to mine the first asteroid is going to be trillionaire. Yeah, kind of true. Look at that. This is kind of an example of that.
Yet, the Joule spacecraft. Since it's going to be so large, launching it in one go would be infeasible. So instead, the program has decided to launch it in several smaller chunks and perform what is known in the business as orbital assembly. This would require many launches, but once assembled, we would have a real big boy in space. Not just any big boy either. This would be a proper spaceship. Lots of fuel in these spherical tanks, this big fusion engine for high efficiency, a nuclear reactor for power, a ring centrifuge particle accelerator.
I don't want to pause too much, but this orbital assembly, right? This thing is, I guess, whenever somebody's come forth with some kind of some kind of idea like that, you're like, okay, maybe until it happens, it's just an idea type of thing, right? But James Webb was kind of like an assembled everything, right? Its wings were kind of inside, right? And then it kind of opened up, right? We actually did that shit. So, assembling the space, it's not just an idea. You can actually do that shit.
A thing that looks cool, and a lander for collecting surface science. But before we launch, learn time. Let's rewind the tape a little bit. This big fusion engine for high efficiency. What do I mean by this? What makes a rocket engine efficient? First of all, let's look at a small example. These two rockets are both exactly 7 tons and have the same amount of fuel. The only difference between them is the engines they use. This one uses a conventional liquid fuel engine, and this one uses a nuclear engine. If we burn all the fuel in both rockets, which one will be going fastest at the end? The nuclear
Nuclear.
engine. Obviously. Why else would we put a nuclear reactor in space? You dumb. So why is this? Conservation of momentum. You may remember back in
Yeah. Obviously, fusion is going to be more efficient than combustion, right? I mean, combustion feels like primitive when we talk about fusion. I mean, the star works with fusion, right? That is the literally meat of the entire universe's energy, right? I want to say the biggest energy there, but then somebody's going to be, there's this different type of term. There's black hole engines, this and that. There's going to produce more energy, this and that. Yeah, but the meat of the universe is stars. The stars work by fusion. So yeah. So basically, fusion engines is not that far-fetched, right? It's going to be hard to make it, I guess. It's going to be very costly. It's not going to happen anytime soon. But basically, if you create a nuclear fusion reactor, right, give it some kind of a liquid that it can actually heat up and burn and the gases come out, that's going to be much faster and efficient.
episode 1 when I asked Kevin about Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The rocket engine expels hot gas backwards very fast, which imparts an equal and opposite force on the rocket, causing it to accelerate. If you throw the hot gas back even faster, then you get more force for the same amount of fuel. This is exactly what the nuclear engine is doing. It uses a nuclear reaction in its core to heat up a gas to incredible temperatures that are much higher than what normal chemical rockets can achieve. This hot gas expands more than regular hot gas, which gives it higher exhaust velocity, and thus higher efficiency. So what about our futuristic fusion rocket? How does that work? I don't know. But what I do know is that it uses a nuclear fusion reaction to release lots of energy and then shoots hydrogen through it to get its thrust. Efficiency is measured in specific impulse, which is measured in seconds. Higher seconds is better. But why seconds? 400 seconds would mean that a rocket engine with 100 kilograms of fuel would produce 100 kilograms of thrust for 400 seconds before it ran out of fuel. The best chemical rockets can do about 400 seconds of specific impulse. The nuclear rocket engine in stock KSP does 800 seconds, and the ion engine can do 4,000 seconds. This is still baby shit though. The fusion engine that we've been talking about can do 15,500 seconds in high thrust mode, and 27,000 seconds in the most efficient mode. But we can do even better. The best engines can do 100, even 200,000, with the very best able to do a ridiculous 2 million seconds of specific impulse. These engines are so powerful that they can realistically accelerate the craft to a significant fraction of the speed of light.
Yeah.
Very nice. Anyway, back to the Joule mission. We've got a few modules to launch: propulsion, command, centrifuge, reactor, habitation, labs, new labs because the old ones are bad, and the lander. So, let's go. Once the spaceship was fully assembled, I went to give it a name.
Oh my god, I love this game so much. I love every time a rocket basically launches and it just comes out of atmosphere, right? You see the sun in the background and how the planet looks changes as soon as you go up. Because let's be honest, this is how our eyes would see it, right? Things suddenly lit up on the terrain and it kind of blends in because our eyes basically adjust to things, right? It can't see that much detail from top up. So I like planet is just too much detail. As soon as you go up, it starts to light up because atmosphere kind of lights up. There's a sun behind it and everything just kind of blends in. That is so good. I like the whole element of how they capture this, right? I'm not gonna say the textures and everything is ultra realistic like some top, AAA game, right? It's not, but things that are captured there is so good. Some of the details are incredible.
But what to name it? Something that is definitely the Big Funny. I consulted the world map, zoomed into West Africa, into Burkina Faso, and to its capital, Ouagadougou. Immense. Once around Joule, we placed the craft into a parking orbit, detached the lander, and began the hunt for lots of science.
Music is great. The level of fast launches and fast landings and fast research is happening right now. Yeah, this is what NASA would use as a pawn, right? Oh yeah, this is the stuff right there.
Lots of data was collected, and our fuel was almost depleted. We headed back to Ouagadougou, docked, and transferred the science into the lab. After several more months of zooming around the green boy, the research had been completed. In total, we had collected 41,000 science from our mission, but the labs had multiplied this by 5, leaving us with an absolutely massive 207,000 science. In celebration, I get a Kerbal out of the habitation module, who is instantly vaporized by the high-energy neutrons from the fusion engine. Rip. I hurried to the R&D building and unlocked every...
So let me get this straight. He created a fusion engine and didn't see the side effects from it, right? Like this can be hazardous, like how to create safety measures. He didn't do none of that shit. Oh, look at that. Nuclear fusion engine, right? Let's research it and let's put it into effect. Yeah, what about the safety protocols? What safety protocols?
every technology available, including the warp drives. Our next base will be on the surface of the furthest planet in the Kerbal system. Good old Elu. I've learned from our previous surface-based mistakes and placed everything necessary for the base to function on one vessel. Its name... This long boy has the premier in power generation, a literal black hole, and many other important features like a launch pad, drills, and an ISRU module. The interesting part of this base is how we're bringing it to Elu. You'd expect for a rocket of this size it would need a massive launch vehicle, but no. With our shiny new technologies, we can condense this vehicle into this power node. It uses 4 antimatter-powered jet engines, a massive fusion engine, and the warp drive. So let's launch.
How is it gonna look? Okay.
Up in space, we don't bother getting into orbit. Instead, we begin charging the warp drive, and...
Damn.
20 minutes later,
I don't see much of warping there. So how is this a warp drive? I guess it's just like really fast drive or something like that.
Called 76 million kilometers, and we're here. We take it down to a low orbit and touchdown. In less than a week, we've placed a base on the furthest planet in the solar system. Very nice. In celebration, we build a space station and launch it from our base. Incredible. We've pretty much conquered the entire solar system, so naturally, our next destination is... For our first interstellar voyage, we'll send a lander to plant a flag on the planet's surface. This will need an interstellar transfer stage, and a lander with enough delta-V to land and return to orbit. For this job, we've recycled the Ouagadougou lander, remembered to include a ladder and built the very first interstellar transfer stage. So we put it on a launcher, name it Shitfart14, and launch.
That's right, Shitfart.
Once in space, we charge up the warp drive, and...
Dad, look at the inside of it. Alright, first of all, I want to say the nuclear engine, right? Oh, wait a minute. So yeah, what I was saying was, yeah, fusion engine, nuclear engines, right? So nuclear engines is a problem, right? If you go really fast, like very close to the certain portion of speed of light, one simple asteroid rock here and there that you can't see in this kind of a space, right? When you're going that fast, and the impact speed would be so greater that you would instantly explode, right? I want to say it would be worse thing with the warp drive, but maybe not, right? There is a theory that with warp drives, it actually warps the space around you, right? You're not traveling through space, you're warping the space around you. So if there is even a dust particle there, it's not going to hit you. That is just going to warp around you and just go away. So technically, if you hit a planet, you're not going to hit the planet, you're going to go through or something like that. I don't know. But that's just a theory. If that happens, warp drive is kind of, doable, even if it's doable with science, right? But if that's not the case, you don't warp the space around you, then warp drive is extremely dangerous and probably going to have 99.9% fatalities or something. One dust particle would explode the whole fucking rocket.
Here we are, boys. Proxima Centauri. And our small exoplanet, Proxima Centauri b. We detach the lander and fly it down to the surface.
Closest planet to us. Wait, what? Is that Kevin? Kevin's already here. Okay. Of course he is. What the fuck? Kevin just went stone cold. Ah, damn. I kind of knew that coming, right? As soon as he's gonna reach, somehow Kevin beat him to all this, right? Kevin had all the funds. If Saudis were backing Martin here, who was backing Kevin? United Emirates or something. This is so good. Alright, people, that was Kerbal Scuffed Program 3, Kevin's Wrath. By the chap martincitopants. I hope he does more of this. People are telling me that he's doing it, I guess. Right, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check the cards, comment down if you want to react to a specific video from this channel or any other. And yeah, I'll see you next time.